So I'm going to give you two choices, and I truly want you to hold them with you as I take you through my talk. Option 1, you fit in perfectly with your environment, but you are not who you truly are. And rather, you fit in and you are accepted because of a facade you put on, a mask. Or, option 2, you are truly yourself, who you are to your core, but you're not accepted. In fact, you might be an outsider. Oftentimes, these are the two choices we have as women in male-dominated environments. Additionally, we as women in these environments feel the need to choose between two extreme personalities. We have to be dominant, bold, loud. We have to demand respect to be seen as equals. Or, quite the opposite. We choose silence. We are quiet, obedient. We don't question things. And we blend into our environment, and that is how we fit in. You see, 5 years ago, I made the decision to enlist into the military. And as I was enlisting, I had promised myself that being a woman was not going to harm me. It was not going to be my disadvantage. But rather, I pulled everything that was me into myself, and I was concealed. I was not who I truly was. And I needed to fit in. So I became tough and bold. I had always been labeled quite scared, quite paranoid, insignificant. And I stuffed all these things inside, and instead I put on a face of no emotion, of toughness. And I was blending in perfectly until I wasn't. One day, we all lined up to go to training, and where we slept at and where we conducted training was about 2 miles away from each other. So it was quite a long march. And as we lined up to go to class, I was put at the very front of the formation. So there was about 3 people next to me and 115 people behind me. We took off towards class, and we marched in unison, and we sang military songs, which are called cadences, much like you've seen in the movies. But this day I wasn't feeling very well. I had gone through training in the midst of COVID. As we rounded a building, I saw a door open up, and immediately I met eyes with a drill sergeant. He looked at me a little too long. You see, in military training, if somebody higher ranking than you looks at you for more than a few seconds, you know that you better feel fear. So I did. But before I could figure out what I was doing wrong, he began to scream at me. He yelled obscenities, he threatened me, and I had no idea why. All I could make out was that he was angry that I didn't look into singing like I should have been. So I raised my voice and I tried to appease him, but nothing worked. He got closer to me and he actually read my name on my name tape. On our uniforms, we have name tapes to the left of our chest. At the time, my name was Decker. And he said, "Decker, I got you." "Yeah, I got you, Decker. I got your name. Don't forget it. I will remember you and I will be back." Now let me remind you, I had no idea what I did. About 15 to 20 minutes later, he fizzled off, and I tried to forget about it. But a voice next to me whispered, "There he is." And I looked to my left, and again I meet eyes with this same drill sergeant. But this time he's in a vehicle. He took a vehicle to further harass me, to further follow me. And like the bold person I was, like the tough person that I chose to be in this environment, I kept looking at him, even though he dared me not to. He told me that if I looked at him, then I was raising myself to his worth, because he was higher ranking, because he was a male. As we got to class, everybody was released. I didn't see this man, but my own drill sergeant pulled me aside that I had known for months, and he asked me why I had been so disrespectful to this man. He told me why had I cussed at him, all these accusations that never happened, and although I had a witness, I wasn't believed. And he looked me in my eyes and he told me a supervisor would never lie. And I was crushed. You see, I saw what being bold in that environment enough to stand up for myself for who I was in that environment, a lower ranking female, I saw what it resulted in. It resulted in me being labeled a liar, a troublemaker, and a problem to authority. And so I chose the other personality that I talked about, and I chose silence. And for 5 more years, I was silent. Long beyond leaving training when I got to my military unit where I am now, it killed me to be silent. I'm a lover of justice. I like for everybody to be treated the same regardless of who you are, but this just was not happening. And as people to the left and to the right of me struggled with mental illness and low morale, I had to stay silent, but I hated it. It wasn't who I was, but at least I was blending in, right? But it got to me. This silence started to bother me, so I would whisper to people around me, why can't we show these people empathy? Why can't we treat everybody like they're humans regardless of rank? Why can't we show them understanding? And I was always met with the same answer. This is just the military. What did you expect? And I accepted that answer for a few years until my dear friend in service finally replied, but it doesn't have to be. And it inspired me. And I started to speak up. And I realized as I started to speak up and I chose a middle ground for myself to be myself, even if I wasn't fully accepted, I found that my internal environment changed my external environment, and other people started speaking up. So the 3 things I would say to you for anybody going into an environment that maybe you don't fully agree with, these 3 things. 1, when you go into these environments, you cannot go in trying to fit the pre-existing subculture, the same mold. You see, these environments have enough of the same kind of people. They need somebody different. And that somebody has to be you, because who will do it if not you? You cannot go in trying to fit that mold. Many times I have seen women specifically come into the military being so dominant that they come off hateful. And the sad thing is the men don't accept them, but the women don't respect them because we fear them. It's a very lonely stance. 2, when you start to speak up and be yourself, be vocal. Be proud of who you are. The only reason I ever started speaking up and being different is because my dear friend in service did first. And as I spoke up, other people did too. And 3, probably the most important, when you are gifted with power and influence, when you become a leader, you have to not let power change you. This happens time and time again. We've seen it. And many times I've seen people lose themselves to rank. But the truth is, when you become a leader, this is the most important time to try to protect your people. You have to be their safe space. I once had a leader shed tears for us when we told her how bad our mental illness was in the unit. And in that moment, I respected her more than anyone else because she showed us her humanity in an environment that doesn't always accept it. The truth is, I will probably be criticized for offering softer approaches in these environments, but the same old personality just is not working. The Department of Veterans Affairs states that 17 soldiers take their lives every day. And a large percentage of these 17 soldiers take their lives 6 months out of service, when they're isolated, when they're alone, away from their brotherhood. So we must fix our issues where we can in the realm of our influence. Because if we don't fix issues in uniform, they will bleed out later down the line. So what will it be to you in your environment when placed in that opportunity? Will you sacrifice who you are to fit in? Or will you sacrifice possibly not fitting in to be your true self and help others? Either option requires sacrifice. And I would be curious to know what you would choose in your environment. I know the choice that I made, and I do not regret it. Thank you all.